Did you know there are creators out there that have millions of followers, but when they host a meet and greet, nobody shows? Or when they launch a product, nobody buys? Additionally, there are creators out there who are one-hit wonders, creators who've had success for a short period of time growing and monetizing, but now they're stuck and plateaued. Both of those scenarios explain 99.99% of creators out there. And that's why you often hear people say that there's no longevity in content or it's not a real job, when in reality, they just misunderstood how content is supposed to work. I want to introduce to you my content funnel and the 4 missions of content, where if you can learn this in this video, you will immediately be in a very rare category of creators. You will be able to grow and monetize simultaneously and have longevity as a creator. My name is Jun Yu. I've posted every single day for the last 5.5 years. I've grown an audience of over 8 million followers and generated over $4 million. And I really do believe I'm just getting started, simply because I've understood the 4 missions of content. The 4 layers are stacked upon each other and behave as a funnel. We will first talk about layer 1, to attract. At the top of the funnel, we need content that will attract as many eyeballs as possible onto our page. Here, it's all about brand building exposure. Let me first explain what this isn't. Simply copying someone else's trend is where it can actually be destructive to your brand. A really great example of this is when Ashton Hall's morning routine videos took the internet by storm. As a result, a lot of fitness creators started to do parodies of Ashton Hall's routine. They attempted to do it in a humorous way, and although a lot of those videos got millions and millions and millions and millions of views, if you looked at the comments, something interesting was happening. A lot of those comments simply read laughing emojis, or they were criticizing or teasing the routine itself. So what happens when that fitness creator gets another 5,000 new followers based on that parody, but then another video they're teaching about nutrition, or they're teaching about a different workout regimen, or they're teaching about mindset? What happens in that moment? Well, those people that had watched the Ashton Hall's parody and then comes and sees that piece of content, there's a disconnect. That's what you call brand destructing. Those views and new followers don't mean anything for your page. Now imagine on the flip side, if you took a trending format and combined it with your own unique message that's aligned to your brand. Well, those views and new followers would actually mean something to your brand, because when they see another piece of content by you, there's coherence. That's a very effective way of garnering exposure. Now, the second way is by simply telling your story. Universally, we all as human beings connect through struggle. Have you gone through a breakup? Have you ever been made fun of? Do you feel like you're not being seen within your family? Do you feel as though you're struggling with discipline? Are you somebody that's failed a test? All of those struggles immediately we can all connect to. And so when you tell your story, it has a really great broad reach. If you can effectively tell how you've transformed from a struggle to then ultimately where you are today, that is a really great way of getting your content in front of new people. I can guarantee every single one of you has a very powerful story within you. It's often the things that we hate about ourselves the most that we can transform into a powerful message that can actually help others in need. For me, it's coming from a broken, poor immigrant household. That story connects with a lot of you because you understand that pain. Now, I've always said, as a creator, you should only share what you are comfortable with. But oftentimes, a lot of us have never even had the space to even tell our story in its full capacity. And so if we don't even have awareness of which areas that we could potentially tell stories of, then we're in a place in which all of our content feels as though it's not personal. It feels as though there's no connection to our audience. So my first challenge to you is to simply create a Google Doc for yourself and start to list out some transformative experiences, and then you can make the decision of which ones do you want to further create content about and which ones do you want to keep private to you. But at least then you can be intentional about the stories that you tell. Everything in our lives are stories. Mission number 2 is to nurture. Now, once those eyeballs are onto your page, it's important that you ensure that they don't leave. And the way that you decrease your number of unfollows is by actually tending to your audience. A great visual that you can imagine is oftentimes we as creators teach at our audience. We say, you should do this, you have to do this, you must do this if you want to get this type of result. And we put ourselves on a pedestal, and then our audience we're speaking down to. Most people don't want to be only talked down to. So instead, in our nurturing content, we're bringing ourselves down and speaking at a level in which we can have relation with our audience. And the greatest way that you can have that equal footing is by telling your audience that you're going through a lot of the same struggles that they're going through. So even for my own content, my message to everyone is that personal branding is the greatest long-term investment that anyone can make. But I also go through a lot of judgment from friends and family. So I create content in which I display that And I tell people, hey, although I have 8 million followers across my platforms, it's still not perfect for me, and I still struggle with a lot of my own insecurities too. But that is very intentional because I want my audience to know that I know what they're going through. I feel it. I can tend to their emotions because I myself have endured it. When I think nurturing content, I think raw glimpses or raw behind the scenes of our lives. Whether that's through a vlog, a day in the life, or whether that's you doing a talking head and you're describing a story. It's so important that we build connection and rapport with our audience and make it feel like your audience isn't alone in the experiences that they're going through. Now, mission number 3 is to position. Unfortunately, there are a lot of bad actors in the world of social media. People that actually don't have any credibility, people that haven't done the work themselves, people that haven't had the success that they're declaring, and they still only speak from an expert lens. So that's who you're competing with. And you have to do a very good job of building further trust, establishing your authority. So the way that you can do this is either by highlighting brand elevating moments, so moments in which you've achieved a great level of success and you can document that. For me, it's when I was on the biggest stage in Tokyo, Japan, where I was one of 5 judges hosting the global entrepreneurship competition held by Red Bull. When I was there next to AMD, Microsoft, and an Olympian and a venture capitalist firm as the youngest judge talking about personal branding, that was a brand elevating moment for me. So I documented that through a YouTube video and through my Instagram content. But you might be thinking, but I don't necessarily have a brand elevating moment. That's okay. What you can do is actually share your own unique take that may be contrarian to what your industry speaks on. For example, a big one of mine is that I believe traditional niching is dead. I believe that you should become your own niche, but that is an opinion and belief that I have cultivated after years of hard work. You may have a unique take on spirituality, relationships, mindset, business, fashion, fitness, finance, and it's important that you consider what is that belief you hold and speak to your own experience. When I say build authority, I don't mean that you're making everything in life black and white. I'm not saying that you should declare your truth to be the only truth, but when I say your truth, I mean you back it up through your own experience. And if you can get really good at communicating that positioning, that is how you have really good authority and trust with your audience. And then finally, conversion content. And if you'd like for me to create a video solely on conversion content, I'm more than happy to, because it is actually a very unique challenge to be able to create content that sells without sounding salesy, to create content that promotes your products without turning your audience off, to be able to be loud, bold, and proud about your products that you work so hard to build without losing your audience. These are all really difficult challenges when you go through it. I'm more than happy to make an entire video on it. For the purposes of this video, I want to explain to you what conversion content is in the context of the 4 missions. Here we're talking about the very final step, and this is where we bring our audience into the ecosystem that we own. The truth is, every platform that we create content on, whether it be YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok, or anything else, they're not ours, meaning that tomorrow, overnight, we could lose our entire audience if the platform was to go down, for example. That's why it's so important to bring our audience into an ecosystem that we own. Let me further explain how this can work. It's your job to understand what good content is. You're basically taking the best from your previous 3 missions, and it's up to you then to add a call to action, and often a ManyChat integration is a really great idea. This is where you simply say comment X word and I'll give you Y resource. You've probably come across it from other creators or my own account, and it's a way in which you can utilize DM automations. But simply put, when you comment as the viewer a certain word, then in DMs you will get a resource sent out to you. But then this is the really cool part. So you go from that DM and you have them enter their email address in one way or another, whether it's actually through the ManyChat automation or it's through a separate landing page where then they submit their email so that you can give them the resource. The whole point in doing that is that you're bringing them into your email list, aka your ecosystem. It's the first step. And when you do this, then it's up to you in those emails to continuously nurture your audience with a lot of value so that when you do launch a new product in the future as well, you can sell it on your emails as much as you would sell it on the front end of your page through content. You can provide additional discounts or offers, or you can provide additional support just through those emails, because these are people that have taken that additional step to trust you, right? And so it's up to you to keep that trust going. And there's something really personal about appearing in someone's inbox. And if you've gotten here to this point of the video, congratulations, you've already been in the very rare percentage of creators out there. And I want to explain something even further. If you pay close attention, you'll see that at every single layer, you may have less views, but that's okay, because what I am trying to show to you is that not every single piece piece of content is meant to go viral. It's actually supposed to be much more strategic in building your entire personal brand. And what you will also see is that at every single layer, you'll continuously build deeper trust and you're providing deeper value. So at the very bottom of this content funnel, you are really happy because you're making content that's aligned to you and you're able to monetize, and your audience is happy because they're learning more and more from you. This is how you can grow and monetize simultaneously, which, if you can remember, is the ultimate 2 goals as a creator. Let me know if you have any questions below. Give this video a thumbs up and of course subscribe. With that being said, guys, I will see you all at the top.